Earlier, I pointed toward a tension that rarely announces itself as a problem. It often looks like stability. Things are working, decisions are being made, progress appears consistent. There are no obvious breakdowns, no visible loss of control, no urgency facing interruption. And because of that, very little gets questioned. The plateau doesn't feel like a stop, it feels like continuation. And inside that continuation, something quieter begins to form. A kind of stillness that movement does not disrupt. The underlying pressure is not to change anything that appears to be working. It shows up first in how leaders interpret progress. Results continue. So direction goes unexamined. Decisions become faster, but not necessarily sharper. It stays hidden because nothing is visibly wrong. Team is performing. Operations whole. Expectations are met. From the outside, it looks like consistency. From the inside, something begins to flatten. And over time, the range of decision narrows. Fewer questions get answered. Fewer questions get asked. Fewer assumptions get challenged. A leader may feel less friction, but also less movement. The cost arrives quietly, not as failure, not as disruption. The cost is compression. Compression of thinking, compression of direction, compression of identity. And it keeps going. Because stability reinforces itself. The more things work, the less reason there appears to alter them. And over time, continuation becomes the default. What if you stop questioning because it still works? Now, if we were live right now, people who are in this room, there'll start being some conversation, there'll start being some speaking, and we'll start seeing some patterns that would emerge quietly. Some would describe long periods of steady performance that felt harder to interpret over time. Others would notice how rarely they revisited foundational decisions. Someone might recognize how often they rely on what has worked instead of examining what is now required. Another might describe a sense of movement without a clear sense of change. There will be stories of leaders who were respected, who were trusted, and quietly unsure if anything is actually working or evolving. Of teams that were operated smoothly while direction remains unspoken. Some would notice that fewer risks are taken. Not by decision, but by habit. Others will recognize that their identity has become tied to maintaining what exists rather than exploring what could shift. No one will call it stagnation. They will call it stability. And over time, that stability reshapes expectations, not toward growth, but toward preservation. The patterns would sound reasonable. That's why they persist. And this tension does not need to be resolved right here, right now. It does not require interpretation. You can carry it back without changing anything. Just notice where continuation continues without examination. And let whatever belongs to movement emerge in its own time.